Imagine this. You've spent years training, saved every dollar, and traveled halfway across the world to stand on top of Mount Everest. You're so close, just a few days from the summit. But on April 25th, 2015, the ground beneath you begins to shake.
The ground is shaking. Oh, oh!
In moments, your dream of standing on top of the world was replaced by a desperate struggle to survive. In just moments, the tallest peak in the world became the site of one of the deadliest disasters in mountaineering history. For many of us, Everest is just a name on a map or a photo in a textbook. But for climbers, it's the ultimate test of human strength and willpower. Standing at 29,032 feet, it's the tallest peak in the world, but it's also one of the deadliest. Thin air, extreme weather, and unpredictable avalanches make it a challenge unlike any other. Every year, hundreds of people risk their lives to reach the summit, but not everyone makes it back. In 2015, over 800 climbers and Sherpas were on the mountain, each with their own story. Some were seasoned mountaineers, while others were first-timers chasing a dream. But with more people came more risks. Everest wasn't just a mountain anymore, it was a crowded, chaotic race to the top. The Sherpas, the local guides who make climbing possible, were the backbone of every expedition. They carried the gear, set up the ropes, and risked their lives so others could achieve their goals. At 11:56 a.m. on April 25th, 2015, the ground shook violently. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake had struck Nepal, and its effects were felt hundreds of miles away. For climbers at base camp, it felt like the mountain itself was coming apart. One climber described it as a roar louder than thunder, and then everything went white. The earthquake triggered a massive avalanche that swept through base camp, burying tents, equipment, and people under tons of snow and ice. In just moments, the dream of climbing Everest turned into a fight for survival. The avalanche hit base camp with terrifying force. One moment, climbers were resting in their tents, preparing for the next leg of their journey. The next moment, the world turned white. Tents were flattened in seconds, and climbers were buried under snow and debris. The chaos was unimaginable. Screams for help echoed through the camp, and the sound of ice and rock crashing down drowned out all other noise. Survivors described the scene as a blur of panic and desperation. Climbers with medical training rushed to help the injured, while others dug through the snow with their bare hands to free those trapped. The Sherpas, who knew the mountain better than anyone, worked tirelessly to organize rescue efforts. But for many, it was already too late. The avalanche had taken lives in an instant, leaving base camp in ruins. One climber, a doctor from Colorado, recalled the deafening noise and the sudden darkness as snow filled the air. He described it as being inside a tornado, unsure if he would live or die. For those who survived, the next few minutes were a fight for survival in the most extreme conditions imaginable. The dream of climbing Everest had turned into a nightmare, and the fight to stay alive had only just begun. The loss was unimaginable. 19 people lost their lives at base camp that day, and dozens more were injured. Among the dead was a 33-year-old base camp medic, known for her kindness and unwavering commitment to her team. Her death was a devastating blow to everyone who knew her. Another victim was a Sherpa who had climbed Everest multiple times, only to lose his life in the avalanche. His family later shared that they had come to the mountain to make a living, but it had taken everything from them. For the survivors, the emotional scars ran deep. Many struggled with guilt, asking themselves why they lived while others did not. The Sherpas, who bore the brunt of the tragedy, were hit especially hard. They were not just guides, they were father, sons, and brothers. For many, climbing Everest was their livelihood, but it came at a steep cost. The disaster highlighted the risks faced by those who make climbing Everest possible, risks that often go unnoticed. The loss was felt not just at base camp, but across the climbing community. Climbers and Sherpas alike mourned the dead, sharing stories and memories of those they had lost. The tragedy was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the price of chasing dreams on the world's tallest peak. In the hours and days that followed, base camp became a scene of both devastation and resilience. Survivors worked together to tend to the injured and clear the wreckage. Helicopters arrived to evacuate the most critically hurt, but the high altitude and unpredictable weather made rescue efforts incredibly difficult. The camp, once a bustling hub of activity, was now a somber place of mourning and recovery. The Sherpas, despite their own losses, were the heart of the recovery effort. They guided rescue teams, carried supplies, and provided emotional support to grieving climbers. Their strength and determination were a testament to their resilience and their deep connection to the mountain. One Sherpa, who had lost his brother in the avalanche, worked tirelessly to rescue others. "I couldn't save him," he later said, "but I could save someone else." By the end of the day, the decision was made to cancel the 2015 climbing season. For many, the dream of reaching the summit was over, but for others, the focus shifted to survival and honoring those who didn't make it. Climbers and Sherpas gathered to mourn the dead, finding solace in their shared grief and determination to carry on. While the disaster unfolded on Everest, the earthquake devastated Nepal. Over 9,000 people lost their lives, and millions were left homeless. Entire villages were reduced to rubble, and historic landmarks were destroyed. The world watched in horror as Nepal faced one of the worst natural disasters in its history. For climbers, the tragedy raised difficult questions. Was it ethical to continue climbing Everest in the face of such risks? Should the mountain be closed to commercial expeditions? The debate sparked a global conversation about the balance between human ambition and respect for nature. But amidst the devastation, there was also hope. The international community rallied to support Nepal, sending aid and volunteers to help rebuild it. Climbers who had been on Everest that day shared their stories, shining a light on the courage and resilience of those who faced the disaster head-on. The mountain had taken so much, but it had also shown what people were capable of when they came together. One survivor said, "The mountain took so much from us, but it also showed us what we're capable of. We came together and we survived. That's something no one can take away." The 2015 disaster forced the climbing community to confront hard truths. Were we pushing too hard, too fast? Were we respecting the mountain and those who make climbing possible? In the years since, stricter regulations have been put in place to improve safety. Better weather forecasting and avalanche detection systems have been introduced, and the number of climbers allowed on the mountain has been limited. Yet, even with these changes, Everest remains an unforgiving place. The mountain does not care for our dreams or ambitions. It demands respect, and it always will. No amount of preparation can erase the risks, and no climber, no matter how experienced, is immune to its dangers. Those who lost their lives in 2015 will never be forgotten. Every year, climbers leave flags, photos, and prayers at base camp, honoring the memory of those who never made it home. As one survivor put it, "We lost more than friends that day. We lost a part of ourselves, but we carry their memory, and that gives us strength." The Everest disaster isn't just a story about a mountain. It's about people. Their courage, sacrifices, and resilience remind us that nature is unpredictable, and we are small in its presence. But even in the depths of tragedy, there is hope. In the aftermath, climbers, Sherpas, and the global community came together, proving that even in the darkest moments, we can find light. Through grief, they found unity. Through loss, they found strength. Everest will always stand as a symbol of human ambition, but more than that, it reminds us of our shared humanity. In the face of disaster, we mourn, we endure, and ultimately, we rise.